Hey everyone, Shabby Gamer here, and welcome to the finale of the Queen of Carnage. By the end of tonight, we'll know who our women's champion here is on Carnage. That was a dodgy Geordie accent that popped in there, wasn't it? Where that came from. And we're going to start things off with the two ladies who did not make it in to the Queen of Carnage tournament because of their ranking points being the lowest. But they got a chance here to not only get normal 5 points, but of course it is a pay-per-view, so it's double in a freaking tables match. And here we go then. So the first ever women's table match here in SWE. And it's between two absolutely top class women here on Carnage. And like I said, very unlucky not to be involved in the tournament. But of course we can only fit 8 people in there. And unfortunately for these two, they had the lowest ranking points. And that's mainly because a lot of people were new. So they had 100 points standard. However, some of these guys, or some of these ladies should I say, have been in the universe mode for quite some time and have suffered a couple of losses here and there. And it has obviously dropped them down. Now, I reckon that Ruby Riot, when did Ruby Riot debut? So I'm going to go back into WWE 2K18 mode, you know, the way I'm absolutely obsessed with this game. It's amazing because this game is really peeing me off so much at the moment because of its poor AI and everything else it does, but at the same time, I'm so looking... Well, it's the same thing, really. I'm so looking forward to 2K18 just because, hopefully, quite a few of the issues may have been removed. Now, Ruby Riot debuted on TakeOver Orlando again. So that TakeOver Orlando is going to be big for us, then. Because at TakeOver Orlando, Ruby Riot, Aleister Black... And did also Ruby Riot and Aleister Black and somebody else I think also debuted. I think Drew McIntyre was just after that, wasn't it? I don't feel like Drew McIntyre is going to make it into the... I would love to him be in the game, but I got a feeling that he is not going to make it because he returned to NXT. La-di-la-di-la. Wow, that guy's got a very, very long Wikipedia page. No, he also returned at TakeOver Orlando. So Drew McIntyre, Aleister Black, and Ruby Riot all re-debuted. Of course, Aleister Black and Ruby Riot were in ring, whereas Drew McIntyre was just spotted in the crowd. So that's a big one for us because that could show us either way, couldn't it? Really, that could see who we're going to get on the game. And I think we know we got one of those. If we've got Drew McIntyre, I think Ruby Riot and Aleister Black are guaranteed. I know normally that WrestleMania is the cutoff. Normally, over the last few years it has been. But of course, if you look at the club last year, for example, or the year before, no, it was last year, wasn't it? They debuted about 4 weeks after WrestleMania on Raw, and they made it on the game as DLC. So that gives you a slight indication, doesn't it, really, of roughly what it is we're looking at in terms of roster. Of course, if you've not seen it already, I did upload a quick video the other day, but in fairness to my own video, you're probably better off going to the IGN website, really, and look at the IGN video. But they have announced the first 47 names. Well, it says the first 47 names, but it's not technically, because we already know that Kurt Angle's in the game, 2 versions of Kurt Angle. And we already know that Batista and Rob Van Dam are in there as well if you do get the deluxe edition of the game. But there are another 47 names, and of course the most interesting ones for us, and of course Carnage as well, is a full 5-person Sanity roster. Eric Young, Killian Dain, Alexander Wolf, Nikki Cross, and Sawyer Fulton, which is a bit of a surprise we got Sawyer Fulton, but it was a really nice surprise because that's what I really wanted, to be honest. I was actually DLC Sawyer Fulton. That's how sure I was he wasn't going to be in there. That's an interesting question. Alright, I'm going to Google one more person, then we can get back into this show. Because when did... Oh no, Killian Dain must have debuted a while beforehand then, hadn't he? Not much before TakeOver. Killian Dain made his debut... Oh wow, no, Killian Dain was a long time ago. January 2017. January 18th, Dain joined Sanity as an official capacity. Okay. So that's interesting, that one, because Sawyer Fulton then must have been injured as of December last year. So for them to put him back in there, that's interesting. They must have already had him pre-scanned, I suppose, but yeah, because Sawyer Fulton was knocked out. There we go. Fulton was removed from Sanity in November 2016, but the speculation was debunked after his first 2K18 roster reveal, where Fulton is part of Sanity. So possibly Fulton will come back, and I feel that they might do that, because the way that it's been going so far, they look like they're pushing Dain as more of a singles wrestler, and it just sort of makes sense for Dain to be the upper mid card, for Eric Young to be the main eventer, and for Wolf and Fulton to be the tag team. As Ruby Riot, oh, big knee strike right in the face of Christina Von Eerie, who just about avoided that table. Yeah, so I think we're going to find out in time, aren't we, I suppose. Every Wednesday now, moving forward for the next 3 weeks, maybe 4 weeks, we are going to find out more of the roster, which is fantastic. That's what I need to know. I really want to start preparing the draft for myself and PJ Tovey. I love it. I love a good draft. I love organising it all. That's the main thing. It's crazy, really. I love sorting it all out and getting it all ready to go. Ruby Riot went for the boot strike in the face, but completely missed Christina. I still don't understand that, you know. How the AI, who has a logic and everything, like, if I did it, then there's the error of me maybe not running far enough, or hitting the button too early, or hitting the button too late. Whereas you think with the AI, they should get that stuff spot on, really, shouldn't they? This table in the corner seems to be a little bit bugged, because nobody seems to be able to drop their opponent into it, do they, really? Is that table bugged? It looks it, because everyone's sort of clipping through it as well. Interesting. Interesting. Right. Now, Ruby Riot's going to get the other table, which is probably a good thing, because that first table, I'm pretty sure, might be bugged out a little bit. It seems to not want anyone to run into it. Now, what's Riot going to do with this table? So let's set it up in the middle of the ring. Okay. So, of course, we've not done many table matches so far, but I feel like they are something that we could use a lot, but it's just, sometimes you've got to build up. It's a bit weird just doing a random tables match, isn't it, really? But I feel like if they bring back tag team tables matches and stuff like that, we could do it a bit more, because you'll have people like the Dudleys, hopefully, and Sanity and the Wyatt family, all those sort of people will be pretty good in tables matches, I think, wouldn't they? And again, it's all down to the match creator on 2K18 as well. See exactly what we're going to get and what the limits are going to be. That's the main thing. If we know what the limits are going to be, we can start to prepare. Again, I've said this a few times now, I really want to make Aztec Warfare, if it's possible, as a match. So a 30-man Royal Rumble, only way to be eliminated is via pinfall or submission. So people can go out the ring, no disqualifications, no countouts. But you have to be pinned inside the ring to be eliminated. That for me is the big one. This is a little bit of a glitchy match, this one. I'm pretty sure this table in the corner's bugged. They seem to be trying to utilise this other table a bit more now. Christina Von Eerie going to set the table up in the opposite corner. Interesting. So we've got a table set up at each of these two corners now. Other matches tonight, we've got some really good ones for you. Next up, we've got Spike versus Bam Bam Bigelow in the David versus Goliath match. It is also going to be Falls Count Anywhere, that one. Then we've got Daisuke Sekimoto taking on Oney Lorcan, one-on-one. We've got Muertes taking on Killian Dain, one-on-one. We have got Abdullah the Butcher versus Abdullah Kobiashi. Be a bit of a brutal match. Here we go. Ruby Riot, no, Christina Von Eerie fighting back, sending Riot into the table. And Christina Von Eerie taking Ruby Riot up for a powerbomb straight through the table in the corner, and Christina Von Eerie is victorious in this women's tables match. Pretty good match as well, actually. Also going to see tonight then Eric Young taking on Chris Hero one-on-one. And then, of course, our main event this evening, the Queen of Carnage finale. The lady who wins that one, of course, will become our first ever Carnage Women's Champion. And that is Rosemary Vs Su Yung. Pretty good match, this one. I say that first table was bugged a little bit, I think, but it probably was for the best, really, because it sort of extended the length of the match a little bit, which is pretty good, actually. But there we go then. Christina von Eerie, very important victory for her because that is, of course, a pay-per-view victory, which means it is worth double the amount of ranking points, which is spot on for her. She needed that, I think. Nice solid 10 points. Definitely going to boost her up that women's rankings pretty well. It'll be interesting to see if Christina von Eerie might consider herself a strong contender for the Women's Championship now then as well. And here is our next match of the evening then. It is going to be the David versus Goliath Falls Count Anywhere Brawl. Bam Bam Bigelow versus Spike Dudley. And here we go. Now, this might seem a little bit weird off the top of your head if you've not seen it before, but this one that I really wanted to do because back in the ECW days, I remember this match vividly. I think it happened maybe 2 or 3 shows in a row, and I just vividly remember Bam Bam picking up Spike in like a gorilla press position and launched him into the crowd. It was freaking hilarious. Then the best thing is they did that, and then the crowd surfed Spike the whole way around the ring and dropped him off the other side back to Bam Bam. It was quite hilarious actually. You should definitely go back and watch it. If you've got the WWE Network, you can be able to find it. It's one of the old ECW pay-per-views. And it was very much a David versus Goliath battle. I think Spike may have got a victory in the end. I can't remember, but it was just that one moment that just made me laugh so much. I don't know if what he's meant to do, but literally just launched Spike into the crowd, and the crowd caught him and just started crowd surfing him around. So there you go. You never know. And here he is, little Spike Dudley, pound for pound, the weirdest wrestler in WWE history. Yep, I went there. He was a bit of a weirdo, wasn't he? And again, it'd be great to have some of these different match charts back if we can make the matches ourselves, but I just feel like a 6-man tag elimination tables match, spot on. That'd be great. Or, I don't know, a triple threat tag team tables match would be great as well, elimination. There's so many great matches we could create if that match creator is good. That's the thing. If that match creator is as good as we hope it is, we're laughing. If it's going to be a little bit out there, then it's a bit of a worry. The thing is, it must be good. The fact that they've said it's a game, it's a creator mode, rather than just being like it used to be, a little extra thing that you could change matches moving into it. It's actually a proper creator mode, which means it must be quite some depth to it, you would hope. And the fact that they also read as well that you could create a match type and then save that match type for future use, that'd be pretty cool as well. And there's one other thing that I've not mentioned quite a lot yet, is that in the new universe mode, as Bam Bam's going to go himself, like Bam Bam needs a baseball bat, for God's sake. Yeah, in the universe mode, they've improved, of course, the story system, as they always say they ever do. They've improved the cutscenes again, which they always say they do. They've added power rankings, which I don't know how that differs from the current rankings they've got, but they've also added a goal system. Now, the goal system is the one that interests me, because if it is how I would assume it is, where you can say, for example, Bam Bam's goal is to win the Hardcore Championship, or maybe Spike's goal is to get retribution against his brothers who've shunned him from the group, or something like that, or his goal is to get himself in the top 10 of the rankings, or his goal is to do... There's so many different things you could do. And it'd be interesting to see how that does work and how that dynamic works in the universe mode. It'd be nice. If it does work the way we think it's going to, it would be nice. I feel like a lot of these things are great to have in the universe mode, but sometimes they make things a little bit too complicated to use as well. I don't think the ranking system in the universe mode works at all, to be honest, which is why I've created our own ranking system over on Blogger. Of course, all the links are in the description to that, including the Carnage one. I realised, well, when PJ Toby told me recently, actually, that the Carnage link was missing from the description, so I have got it in the descriptions from now on, so if you do want to have a look at that, it is available in the link below. And hopefully by now, I think everything is up to date as of the time I'm recording. Every single roster is up to date on there. And as I've said before as well, all the ranking points and the champions from the end of Season 2, we are building towards Shabby Mania now, which will be our final pay-per-view of WWE 2K17. Each brand is going to have its own Shabby Mania. This is going to be 5 separate Shabby Manias. It's going to be a week of them. a week of Shabby Manias. And yeah, all the champions and all the ranking points will be stored and will go straight into 2K18. All the champions will remain on their brand, as well as anybody who is linked to the champion. So, for example, we have the Young Bucks going for the championships over on Octane. Should they win that, then the Young Bucks, Omega, Marty Skull and Cody Rhodes will all stay on Octane for Season 3, which is great for me, don't get me wrong, but at the same time, because I'll have more people on my roster, PJ Toby will get the first draft picks. So it works pretty well, the whole system. If you don't know how the draft system works, you can go back and check out the draft. It's got 6,500 views now, so thanks for that, guys. And 86 likes and not a single dislike. It's not bad for just me and PJ Toby getting drunk and eating pizza, is it really? While doing a draft. It was a pretty fun night for us, and it seems to have done pretty well for us as well. There's the pin by Spike Dudley after that tornado DDT through the bottom rope, and you know what? That could have been enough. That really could have been enough. And Spike, I'm surprised at what Spike's doing here. He seemed to have got a bit of advantage over Bam Bam. And he's just decided to just keep going for it. And that's all you can do, really. You can't allow Bam Bam the chance to get back into it, because with Bam Bam's strength, you're not going to get back into the match yourself if you let Bam Bam get control. Spike forcing Bam Bam up against the post, and again just smashing his head against the post now as well. Spike up to now. Spike entering the ring. Oh, Spike, he's got some balls, this lad, but this might not be the wisest move for him. Up on the top. What are you doing, Spike? Spike, oh! I'm not quite sure what that was. It looked like it was possibly either a back senton or a drop kick. Either way, he didn't get what he wanted out of it, but he did take Bam Bam down. So I suppose it doesn't matter how he did it. He actually got the final result correct, I suppose. And still continues the assault on Bam Bam. I'd like to have the weight detection system on 2K18. I'd like to have that a bit improved as well, because that'd be funny if Spike had done that and jumped off like he did. If Bam Bam had just caught him on his shoulders or in a backbreaker or something, that would have been quite fun. Or a powerbomb. I know they do have the capture finishes, but that's the only thing they've got so far. But I think capture reversals would be quite nice. I think Spike's actually busted Bam Bam open, I think. Bam Bam. Oh. There's the shock treatment backbreaker. As Bam Bam just stamping on Spike, bringing Spike back up to his feet, and Spike catching Bam Bam though. Oh, into a schoolboy roll-up packagey thingy. 2. Oh, it's only a 2. I thought Spike had stole it there. I say stole it. He's dominated most of the match, in fairness, actually. So I can't really moan too much. But Spike's still taking control, and Bam Bam, yeah, he is busted open. I thought he was. Bam Bam now taking Spike up in the gorilla press and dropping him. Wow, that looks painful, that. And Bam Bam now dropping a headbutt right in the chest. There's the pin on Spike Dudley. 1, 2, and 3. Wow. Spike may have dominated most of the match, but as soon as Bam Bam got the opportunity, he finished Spike off pretty easily. That was brutal, that was. A really good match though, actually. I really enjoyed that match. Nice little back and forth. And of course, I'm leaving it to you guys. If you think a match is of high quality, then let me know in the comment section down below, and we will add that match to the top match playlist. I've got a few to add. I think there'll be a couple coming up this weekend as well. And I've been suggested for my Dead Man's Boots pay-per-view. Also got an old Adrenaline one I need to dig out as well. But yeah, I think that new playlist is a good idea, actually, just to get the best matches out there. We will do a few random matches when WWE 2K18 comes out. I know that's something that generally happens quite strongly for the beginning of the new release of the game. It's just a chance for me to try people out, to try out the match types and see how they work as well. And we'll do quite a bit of that when the game comes out, just to test it all and see what's going to work moving forward for the universe mode. But yeah, there we go. Bam Bam just turning the whole thing around on its head and getting the pin on Spike Dudley. And Bam Bam gets himself some more ranking points. Not that he needs them. I think Bam Bam's doing pretty well for ranking points at the moment. I wonder if Bam Bam's got an opportunity to potentially try and force his way into the main event picture at some point. Can't see why not, actually. Looking pretty strong. And next up, it's time for a little bit of strong style. Daisuke Sekimoto takes on Oney Lorcan. And here we go. Now, I'm looking forward to this one. It's got a hint of something special about this. I really enjoyed Sekimoto versus Taz. It was one of my favourite matches we've had in the Universe mode so far. And I just want to see whether he can pull off the same quality of match here against Oney Lorcan. Of course, Oney Lorcan, another strong style wrestler. This is me really good. I'm looking forward to this bad boy. This is going to be freaking interesting. Be very, very interesting. This could be a real battle of the ages. Again, this could be Sekimoto's second appearance in that best of SWE playlist. If you're not sure what I'm on about, of course we have got an extra playlist that we've set up recently that has all of the best matches we've had in SWE so far. And here comes Oney Lorcan. This could be good. I'm looking forward to this one. Like I said, Oney Lorcan is someone that I'm hoping is going to be on 2K18. I really am. It'd be really good if he is. A real brutish wrestler. Now, if he is on 2K, the only reason why, because this isn't a bad core at all, it looks like him. But I think for a lot of people, it's the mannerisms. I had this discussion with PJ the other day as well. Yeah, people like Nikki Cross, for example. Our core for Nikki Cross isn't too far away from the actual 2K18 version of Nikki Cross. But it's stuff like taunts and it's entrances. And when you've got people that are quite unique in their movements, same with Oney Lorcan, he has got some pretty intense sort of moves where he goes running off and doing the uppercuts and so forth. If he's on the game, then all of those moves and attacks will be on the game, which is fantastic. So yeah, it'd be nice to have him on there. I'd say it's not the end of the world if he's not, because we can get a pretty decent core, like I said, looking like this. But there you go. Well, straight away, this is, of course, anything in Carnage is always Extreme Rules. I thought this might be more of a pure wrestling, strong style sort of match, but it looks like Oney Lorcan's got an idea for a bit of wood himself. That sounded wrong, didn't it? He's got the idea of a little bit of weaponry, shall I say. Saying wood is not the best idea, probably, is it? Sekimoto slamming Oney Lorcan. Sorry, I forgot his name there for a second. I had in my head, all I had was Biff Busick, and I'm trying my hardest to pick one name for people and keep it to it, because I'm getting pretty bad at the moment with... Oh, look at that spear by Sekimoto. Yeah, I'm getting quite bad at the moment with switching between names. My whole situation with Sekimoto's brutal. With the Drew McIntyre situation, the Aleister Black Tommy End situation, I don't know, I can't do it. It seems quite simple, doesn't it? But just when I let my mouth go and my head's not there, I end up saying stupid things. Like I said, that Oney Lorcan's looking to get some wood, which is never a good situation, never a good thing any man should ever say. Sekimoto here, taking full control though of Oney Lorcan on the outside. And he's being quite brutish about it as well. Like I said, strong style for both these guys, really. Sekimoto maybe a bit more of a suplex strong style, where Lorcan maybe a bit more strike-wise. And look at this Sekimoto again. Oh, just deadlifting Oney Lorcan up into that sit-out powerbomb. Just me, it was a ring bell floating there. It is, it's just floating there. It's supposed to be a table or something there. You can see it in the background there, through the barricade, the ring bell just floated in the air. Well done. Well done, developers. You win this round. It'd be nice as well because, obviously we switch the commentary teams off. We don't have the commentary of the game on there. So the fact now that the commentary booths will now move away from ringside up the top of the ramp where they're currently positioned now is really good, because it's just going to give us a bit more realism and get rid of JBL sat at ringside. No one needs that. Well, JBL's not even on the commentary anyway, is he? It's Byron Saxton, Corey Graves and Michael Cole. Although I did listen to, if you've watched the Sanity entrance, the quality of the commentary team is still pretty bad, which is why we switch it off, because well, I don't know if you guys would prefer to listen to that than my voice, but I know I spew a lot of crap as it is. Maybe not as much crap as Corey Graves and Michael Cole do. Oney Lorcan with a powerbomb, and deadlift Sekimoto up for a second powerbomb. And the trifecta of powerbombs by Oney Lorcan dropping to a knee. I'm not surprised. That must have taken a lot of energy out of him. Lorcan bringing Sekimoto up into that sit-out scoop slam. Lorcan up on the top rope. Oh, nice overcastle as well by Lorcan on Sekimoto. Now stalking Sekimoto. Does he have in it? Does he have a big move in it to finish Sekimoto off? Oh, Sekimoto fighting back. Lorcan, of course, likes to use an exploded suplex on them sort of lines. Sekimoto again fighting Lorcan away into the front chancery. Lorcan tripping Sekimoto over though. Going for that pin. 1, 2. Sekimoto's eyes are shut there, and there wasn't a lot behind that kick out at all, was there? Not a lot behind it at all. Now Oney Lorcan with the elbows to the head of Sekimoto. Lorcan just backing away now and bringing Sekimoto back up to his feet. Gets on the back into a German suplex. And Oney Lorcan now... Oh, he's actually going to use the table as a table, is he? My God, he might actually use the table as a table. It's not very often in this game that people use weapons the way they're supposed to be used. Apart from obviously in a tables match. But in normal extreme rules, that table is normally used as a blunt weapon. So the fact that Bigelow drop kicks, running drop kick in the gut of Sekimoto, putting him through the table in the corner. You know what? Lorcan and Sekimoto might have just confirmed themselves another place on that playlist. They might just have done that. This is a cracking match so far. Lorcan hoisting Sekimoto up into the suplex. There's the pin. 1, 2. And Sekimoto kicks out. My word. How's he pulled that one off? Oney Lorcan now heading up to the top. So he got planned. Big elbow drop. Trying to bring Sekimoto back up, but Sekimoto playing possum, catching him with a shoulder block. Suplex there by Sekimoto on Lorcan as well. Big knee right in the face of Lorcan. I think Lorcan might be busted open. Feeling at his head. Sekimoto dropping an elbow right in the chest of Lorcan. Lorcan raked the eyes of Sekimoto. Sekimoto bringing Lorcan back up, gets her on the back. Dragon suplex onto the debris of the table. 1, 2, and 3. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. I'm pretty sure that Sekimoto might be my favourite wrestler in SWE. And Oney Lorcan as well. It was a cracking match. It was again. And I don't know, let me know what you think in the comment section below. Do you think this one deserves a place in that top match playlist? I'm pretty sure it does, you know. Sekimoto is just a 5-star machine. Sekimoto is our Kenny Omega at this moment in time. I think it's because his moveset's just quite cool. But the fact they actually broke a table in the match as well doesn't happen very often. People utilising tables and ladders as they're supposed to be used is very rare in AI versus AI. And, ooh. The table glitch in the background, but Sekimoto picks up another massive victory, and maybe even Daisuke Sekimoto now is looking at the Carnage Championship picture thinking that he could be involved in that. Definitely someone I'm going to look to try and get in 2K18 as well, because like I said, this guy's just incredible. So next up is going to be another big hard-hitting match as Muertes takes on Killian Dain. And here we go then. Just a really loud car goes past, great, eh? So, again, another big hard-hitting match I think is ahead of us. I think I need to change Muertes' entrance. I think I say that every single week, don't I? But he needs to have his entrance changed, I think. Might just give him like the old Undertaker entrance and be done with it. Give him the old Undertaker music and that sort of stuff. The old, oh, you know what? There's badass Undertaker on the game. Does that mean that Rollins on the game? Keep rolling, 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 rolling. Keep rolling, 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 rolling. It'd be pretty cool if it is. That'd be pretty cool, actually. I'd like that. But yeah, Muertes, Killian Dain. Again, very similar to the last match I reckon. There's going to be a lot of action this one. A lot of big, strong maneuvers, big suplexes, and I think Muertes, of course, with the choke slam and potentially the flatliner. And Killian Dain using the one-wing angel. And here comes Killian Dain. Killian Dain's entrance is pretty good. Of course, it'll be a lot better in 2K18 when he's actually on the game. I realise actually when watching the 2K18, I've never noticed this before. I don't know if anyone else has, but while watching the 2K18 stuff and the roster reveal, I noticed that Nikki Cross's entrance music is ever so slightly different to Sanity's. It's like it's the same entrance music, but it's a slightly higher pitch. Is that normal? I don't think I've ever seen that in real life. In real life, I've never noticed it, but then again, I do skip a lot of entrances, I must admit, in NXT because I generally forget to watch it. Yeah, so I end up watching too much in one go. So then, here we go. Another clash of the Titans. Killian Dain versus Muertes. Now, I was saying earlier about the fact that it was great for us to have Sawyer Fulton on 2K18 because I really wanted Killian Dain to be more of a singles wrestler. And he's getting the chance here to show that on 2K17 here, of course. Remember that all the ranking points will stay with the people, and that includes people that were cause and will become real. So Killian Dain, Eric Young, Sawyer Fulton, Alexander Wolf, all of their stats, all of their ranking points, even though the cause will transfer onto the real version of their card as well. And that's be pretty cool. I'm looking forward to seeing how that works. And maybe Killian Dain can make a run. I still want to have an upper mid-card championship actually in Carnage. We've not got one at the moment, and I don't think we'll have one for the remainder of Season 2 because there's not much point now, because by the time we've crowned one, the universe mode's going to be finished, more or less, so we're not going to do that. We'll probably save it for Season 2, and we've just got to try and think of another name, really. Big right hand right to the side of the head of Muertes by Killian Dain, and Killian Dain is bigger. Now, we have had this conversation before about Muertes, and he is actually a lot smaller than you'd think. So, although it looks like Killian Dain is sort of towering over Muertes, he probably does in real life. Dain using the weapons, of course, remember, as always, it is no disqualification. That's what word I'm trying to find. Dain just slamming the back of Muertes' head into the mat. 1, 2. I need a 2 count. Dain now heading up to the top. big back senton, dropping his entire body weight there on Muertes, but Muertes just completely no-sells it back up. One, two, only a 2 count. So of course still got another 3 matches for you after this one. We have got the Battle of the Abdullahs when Abdullah the Butcher takes on Abdullah Kobiashi. We have got Chris Hero versus Eric Young one-on-one. And of course that main, wow. That was a Shinsuke Nakamura on John Cena-esque back suplex. Only a 2 count there for Dain though over Mil Muertes. Yeah, of course we've got Eric Young versus Chris Hero. I think I just said that one. And of course our main event, the Carnage Women's Championship match, the finale of the Queen of Carnage tournament. Of course, Su Yung versus Rosemary. Muertes slamming the back of Killian Dain's head into the mat. And you know what? I must admit, I've been rushing through a lot of NXT, as I said. As Muertes lining up Killian and Dain potentially for a spear. It is a big spear on Killian Dain. Yeah, I've been watching it. I've been watching a lot of NXT recently, trying to catch up, of course, for tonight's NXT Takeover pay-per-view. And the one thing I've sort of realised that I never really saw it a lot in the UK because I didn't really see a lot of Big Damo, but he's actually a very, very good wrestler, isn't he? Oh, Killian Dain. There's the flatliner by Mil Muertes. Is that going to be all she wrote? 1, 2. No, Killian Dain kicks out. Interesting. Muertes heading up to the top. Muertes big splash on Killian Dain. 1, 2, only a 2. Muertes went for the backsplash and Dain rolled out the way. Now Dain taking Muertes up. Oh, he's got him in for a pile driver. Wow. Of course, that move frowned upon within the WWE. It's fine here though in SWE though. It has to be because I think every single person on Throwdown and Mayhem use it, don't they? It's a very common move within the retro moveset as a pile driver. As Killian Dain, we've got through so many tables here this evening. It's going to cost us a fortune in tables here if this carries on. I am the table. Headbutt there by Killian Dain on Mil Muertes, continuing the assault, but Muertes rolls out the way, and Muertes catching Killian Dain with the snapmare. And how is Killian Dain carrying on after that flatliner and that big spear by Muertes? That has finished much bigger men than Killian Dain in the past, but maybe Killian Dain's just tougher. 2 count there for Mil Muertes. Because Mil Muertes is the former Carnage champion. Held the belt for a week before losing it to Raven. Yeah, I know. I know Raven's the Carnage champion, believe that. But we are going to have Raven defending that belt pretty soon on Carnage. Now, we're not going to have another Carnage pay-per-view until Shabby Mania. So we've got 4 weeks off of Carnage. And I reckon within the next couple of weeks, we will see Raven defend that championship. And I do have a opponent in mind for Raven. Let's just say he's very brawny. In fact, he's completely brawn. And he sounds a bit like a snowman, you know. You know the man that will be facing off against Raven soon. Muertes sending Killian Dain into the ring post now, just stamping in the gut and forcing his foot straight into the neck of Killian Dain. Muertes bringing Dain back up. Oh, has him throttled. Muertes has the strength, takes a step and chokeslams Killian Dain half onto the folded up table. That is going to be painful, that actually. Of course, there is a fine amount of matting on the actual ring itself, not much at all. And the wooden underbelly of the ring is a little bit more flexible. You actually chokeslam someone onto the table. It's not got either of those two things. But there's a second flatliner, and surely Mil Muertes is going to pick the victory here. 1, 2, and 3. Mil Muertes does pick up the victory over Killian Dain in what has been another very good match here this evening. You know what? This has been one good match after another, actually, hasn't it? This whole pay-per-view could end up on that best matches of Season 2 SWE, could it really? It has been very interesting. There was the spear by Muertes earlier in the match, followed up by the flatliner. But that just wasn't enough. So close though, wasn't it? On the brink of 3. Then Killian Dain trying to fight back with that big backbreaker. But struggled himself. See him dropping into the pin after dropping to one knee. If he'd gone for the pin a little bit earlier, he might have pulled that one off, but Muertes just had enough left in the tank to kick out of that one. But the second flatliner was just far too much for the Beast of Belfast to kick out of. 1, 2, and 3. Didn't kick out of the 3 count. Muertes victorious here. Gets himself a nice 10 ranking points for winning on a pay-per-view. That's going to force him a bit higher up the rankings as well, which would be pretty good. And next up is the Battle of the Abdullahs. Abdullah Kobiashi takes on Abdullah the Butcher. And here we go then. A great showcase of 2 of our deathmatch wrestlers here in SWE Carnage. Yes, I said wrestlers, not superstars or sports entertainers, that sort of crap. It's wrestlers, people. Eventually, there we go. Here comes... What the fuck's that? My chair just made a really horrible noise. And I'm a little bit worried what that noise was. My chair is falling apart a little bit. It's not falling apart, it just seems to have all the nuts and bolts seem to be loosening themselves. I might need to nick some thread lock from work and do them up again. So yeah, Abdullah Kobiashi, one of the main hardcore men over in BJW, over in, of course, Japan. I'm assuming, I don't know, but I'm assuming got the name Abdullah from Abdullah the Butcher. Would make sense. I don't think Abdullah's a very normal Japanese name, in fairness, but, you know. You never know, I suppose. And now then here comes Abdullah the Butcher, rocking his little Red Riding Hood gimmick. What a weird gimmick that is. I'm assuming it looked better than that in real life, but it does look a little bit like a Little Red Riding Hood here, doesn't it, really? But this is going to be an interesting one, this one. This could give us an indication of which one of these 2 guys could potentially go for that Hardcore Championship. I'm sure both of them are good enough to win it, but it's who's going to be given the opportunity is the question. And this would be a great chance to see the Battle of the Abdullahs. I'm sure we'll see more weapons in this one as well. We always seem to. There's weapons aplenty at the moment, isn't there? So Abdullah Kobiashi versus Abdullah the Red Riding Hood, the Butcher. The bell goes and we are underway. The battle of red versus blue. And Kobiashi sending Abdullah the Butcher straight to the outside. I've got to be careful what I say, haven't I? I can't just call him Abdullah because that could be either of them I'm talking about, I suppose, couldn't it? Rake to the back there by Kobiashi on Abdullah the Butcher. Butcher just forcing Kobiashi down to the ground. Kick in the face, another big chop as well. Oh, big overhand chop by Abdullah the Butcher on Abdullah Kobiashi. It's a shame 2K does not allow thumbtacks and glass light tubes in the game, isn't it, really? That'd be pretty good for this situation. But kendo sticks do just the same job, straight across the spine of Abdullah Kobiashi, and another one then across the chest and stomach as well. Kobiashi, oh, big running chop on Abdullah the Butcher. Bald is the beautiful. It's an interesting sign in the background. Kobiashi dropping his body weight across Abdullah the Butcher. Abdullah Kobiashi sending Butcher straight into the barricade, then into a DDT on the outside as well. Kobiashi stamping on the arm of Abdullah the Butcher, now bringing him up to all fours, and double axe handle straight in the back. Abdullah the Butcher sending Kobiashi back into the ring, and Abdullah the Butcher back now with the kendo stick, but Kobiashi fighting the kendo stick out of Abdullah the Butcher's hands, and now both fighting for it. But Abdullah the Butcher gets it back once again, showing Abdullah Kobiashi the man. Now roll him over into the pin. Wonder how much damage has been done here. The amount of attacks he's taken to the spine, it can force the air out of your body. Abdullah the Butcher now. Oh, wow. Okay. Abdullah the Butcher going for a triangle choke. That is interesting. I never quite thought I'd ever see Abdullah the Butcher going for a triangle choke in my lifetime, but there you go. What I have seen, I can never unsee. Abdullah the Butcher catching Kobiashi with a leg drop, but just landing so much flat on his backside that he caused a lot of pain and anger to himself as well. Abdullah the Butcher now welcoming Kobiashi back up to his feet into the double axe handle. Kobiashi sending Butcher into the corner. So I had a bit of a... Oh. I had a really cold drink then. It's gone down a bit. Oh. I felt like I got the whole way down that one. Kobiashi went for a... Abdullah the Butcher went for an ace crusher. Kobiashi forced him away. Abdullah the Butcher sending Kobiashi over the top. Now brings him back in the hard way. He's launched him over the top by his neck. Kobiashi gets caught with a neck breaker. Now front chancery by the Butcher. Big knee strike in the face, and the strikes between these two are quite impressive actually. Never thought I'd see much of that, but oh my word. Abdullah Kobiashi showed his strength with a big Samoan drop on Abdullah the Butcher. Wow. Abdullah Kobiashi up on the top, celebrating, and as he should do really with that. That was pretty insane. Knee strike in the face there by Abdullah the Butcher. Another boot in the gut of Kobiashi. Kobiashi fighting back. Front chance by Abdullah the Butcher tripping Kobiashi over. There's the pin. 1, 2. Only a 2. Big forearm right in the face of Abdullah Kobiashi. As Abdullah the Butcher goes to the pin once again, it's getting closer and closer and closer now to a third. To that 3 count. Dropping a knee in the back there. Once again, Abdullah the Butcher bringing Kobiashi back up to his feet. Kobiashi fighting back. Big kicks in the leg now. Big chop and a headbutt. The strikes between these two are pretty brutal, aren't they? Abdullah the Butcher now just pinching the neck of Kobiashi. There's the pin. And again, it's getting closer and closer and closer to a Abdullah the Butcher victory. Big right hand there by Abdullah the Butcher now. Pulling the arm back of Kobiashi. Elbows right in the chest. See that bit of chest actually getting quite red on Kobiashi. So Abdullah the Butcher, a Rainmaker clothesline by Abdullah the Butcher. Yeah, you heard that right. Rainmaker clothesline by Abdullah the Butcher. One more time. A Rainmaker clothesline on Abdullah the Butcher. Yeah. Yeah. That happened. Big scoop slam by Abdullah the Butcher into a leg drop. Now into a pin. 1, 2. Oh, again, it's only a 2. How's Abdullah Kobiashi pulling this off? You know what? Kobiashi must be a homage to Abdullah the Butcher, because he's even got the curled up boots that Abdullah the Butcher's got. What on earth is this all about? If someone could explain to me why this game is so frickin' broken, I'd love to know. Look at this, look. And then swings for the rafters with that kendo stick. Abdullah Kobiashi busted open. Abdullah the Butcher getting rid of the kendo stick now, just taunting Kobiashi, who's not moving. So Butcher goes to the pin. 1, 2. Only a 2 count once again. Dropping the knee right in the back of the head of Kobiashi. And a boot in the back as well. There's the leg drop by Abdullah the Butcher. Kobiashi, big uppercut. Front chancery. Oh, smashing the face of Abdullah the Butcher right in the mat. And oh god, this game. This freaking game. There we go, finally. Abdullah Kobiashi could not run in the ring while holding a sledgehammer for some reason, just got stuck. Big sledgehammer strike to the back of Abdullah the Butcher. Now Kobiashi continuing the aggression, a big back rake. A bit more of a retro move, I think, the old back rake. Not used as often now. Apart from when the Young Bucks like to use their handspring back rake. Kobiashi locked in the tree of woe now, and oh, Abdullah the Butcher trying to take advantage, but Kobiashi showing a bit of agility that we never assumed he had by getting himself out of that. So don't forget, we've still got 2 more matches left for you here this evening. Chris Hero versus Eric Young, and of course the other match as well. Su Yung versus Rosemary for the Women's Championship. That's the reason we're all here, aren't we? Bulldog there by Abdullah the Butcher, and that's enough. Finally, Abdullah Kobiashi had to give in. Whew. That was interesting, that was. That was a big match. Again, another very good match. Tonight's card, just in general, has been very impressive, actually. Carnage could be on here for the best pay-per-view that SWE's seen. In, well, say Season 2, maybe even ever. With the quality of matches so far. Of course, every single match on tonight's card was a singles match, which I was aware of, but I thought the matches were very good. Good old Abdullah the Butcher, though. Hitting the Scotty 2 Hottie style bulldog. If he broke out the worm after that, I would have been just going crazy. They would have been going crazy up in here. And here is our next match then. Chris Hero takes on Eric Young. And here we go then. Chris Hero versus Eric Young. Nobody at ringside for this one. Of course, it is Extreme Rules, which means you can't have anyone at ringside anyway. So that's the reason for that. It would be interesting if you could, though. Extreme... It'd be a little bit iffy, I suppose. There wouldn't be a lot of AI to it, would there? Because if you had a normal manager, if you had like, the likes of Paul Heyman or something like that, it would work, but... yeah, if you had Sanity, like Killian Dain or someone at ringside, then... they would just walk straight in and attack them, wouldn't they, really? They wouldn't stay on the outside, would they? So I suppose it sort of makes sense to have it this way. I don't know. I don't rightly know. I don't rightly know. But this should be interesting, this one again. Another one where you've got 2 guys who need to be at the top of the card, and both these guys, well, we already know Eric Young has already been confirmed for 2K18. He is definitely on there. Chris Hero is not going to be far behind him at all. So both these guys will be on the game, and I'm going to probably... I keep forgetting to change Eric... No, I've done it now, haven't I? Yeah. No, I have done it. So I haven't changed Eric Young's name, but I have changed it. I'm pretty sure that that Sanity and Eric Young might stay on Carnage. I think the way myself and PJ Toby are probably going to do it is we may continue doing the draft we did it way before, but we'll pre-agree a Carnage roster, because Carnage needs to have a very specific roster, and without that roster it doesn't really make a lot of sense. So I think with these very specific rosters, so we'll probably do that. And yeah, like I said, the likes of Eric Young and Sanity will probably end up here alongside Bray Wyatt. I do want to try and recreate the Wyatt family, but maybe a little bit different as well on 2K18. So we'll leave that for now. The Ascension would be another good tag team. I want to try and make Carnage a little bit more well-rounded, because at the moment it seems to be more of an ECW reboot with a few extra names put in, doesn't it? So I think we need to strengthen it a bit. And I think those few names straight away make it a much stronger roster. Especially tag team division. Be interesting to see what it'd be interesting to see what sort of I've lost my my train of thought there. What was I gonna say? I'm completely lost. What was I trying to say? It'd be interesting to see the Dudley boys are on 2K18. That's what I was going to say. So I started the sentence, my mind just went blank. I through, yeah. Be interested if the Dudley boys are in 2K18. Of course, with Bubba Ray leaving earlier in the year and going back to Ring of Honor, I'd be interested to see whether 2K do keep his model on the game. Of course, Devon's still working for WWE, so no problems there. But I feel they should keep him. It's the Dudley boys. It's like a legendary tag team. It makes sense to have him in there, surely. Don't want to be taking some of these fantastic teams out. And again, the same as what I was saying earlier about the NXT TakeOver, with the likes of Aleister Black, Ruby Riot, Drew McIntyre, all at NXT. But the same thing for WrestleMania, isn't it, with the Hardy Boys? So there's 5 people that made their debut / first appearance or returns during that WrestleMania weekend, which is pretty big. Now I'm hoping that 2K would have got more scanned. Thing is, if we know one of them, we'll know roughly the cutoff. That's the main thing. Oh, Chris has been busted open already, or Kassius Ohno, sorry, has been busted open already. Eric Young does the boot to the face, and this is going to be a great game then, because this will be the first game where we're going to have a real big, in-depth NXT roster by the looks of it. Eric Young, Roderick Strong, Bobby Roode, Kassius Ohno. There's going to be some really crazy people on this year's game. Nikki Cross as well, my god. If you would have told me that the girl we saw on TNA Boot Camp a few years ago was going to make it onto a WWE game in a few years, I would have not really believed you, in fairness. Nothing against Nikki Cross, she's a very good wrestler and very, very good character. She does her character very, very well. Eric Young just stalking the grounded Chris Hero. Bloody loud people outside. Kassius Ohno. Yeah, I'm doing it again. I'm switching between names as I always do. Wow. Kassius Ohno rocking a backflip now. Bringing Eric Young back up to his feet. Clothesline. Followed by the over-the-top drop. Followed by a big spinebuster. I feel like Aleister Black might suit Carnage as well next year. I feel like Carnage is going to have a strong style division. Similar to what he's got now with the likes of Oney Lorcan, Kassius Ohno maybe, Aleister Black. Could be a very effective roster. Only a 2 count there by Kassius Ohno on Eric Young. Kassius Ohno with the armbar locked in on Eric Young, but Young able to roll it through. It's one thing that sparked a bit of controversy on a few of the YouTube pages as well for the IGN, is when we saw the 4-person Sanity entrance, they announced Eric Young as from Nashville, Tennessee, which is where he lives now. Of course, he is originally Canadian, but it did spark a lot of outrage down the old comment section about that. It's a funny one. Eric Young now bringing Kassius Ohno back up to his feet, spiked pile driver, and you see that cut on Ohno's head just seems to be getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Pin now by Eric Young on Kassius Ohno, and there was barely enough life left in him to kick out of that. Young drop a knee right in the back of the head of Kassius Ohno. Eric Young taking Ohno up on his shoulders. There he is. That sits out front. Death Valley driver. There's the pin. 1, 2, and 3. Victory for Eric Young. Big victory this from Eric Young then. Somebody who potentially could be looking at that Carnage Championship himself, really. I've already said we've got one person going for it. Maybe Eric Young can go for it as well. I'd like to see an Eric Young and a Bray Wyatt collide. That'd be interesting. That'd be very interesting. Yeah, I might have to do that at some point. And that's going to be the great thing I want to do in 2K18 if, and this is a big if 8-man tag matches work well, I'm promising you this. I'm promising you Bray Wyatt and the Wyatt family versus Eric Young and Sanity in an 8-man tag match. That'll be one of the first matches I think we upload as well. And we'll do a bit of science. That's what it'll be. It'll be a bit of science to figure out how the AI works and if the AI is clever enough to actually pull off a victory in an 8-man tag match, or if there's just too many people. And here we go then, the time is upon us. The main event of the Queen of Carnage pay-per-view. Su Yung takes on Rosemary for the Carnage Championship. And here we go then. Now I will redo myself there, but the Carnage Women's Championship, not the Carnage Championship, same thing, isn't it really? The following contest is scheduled for one fall, and it is for the Carnage Women's Championship. And of course it is going to be Extreme Rules, as always. Introducing first, from somewhere, I don't know where. We did have this conversation in one of the previous episodes of Queen of Carnage, didn't we, where Su Yung was from. She's American, but from Asian descent, I remember that. And, yeah, pretty good wrestler, I believe. I've never seen her wrestle myself, I must admit, but I know she is cruising her way around the world at the moment, doing American. I think she's been doing a bit of a UK tour recently. Yeah. So, she seems to be a very effective wrestler. We wonder if she's the sort of person WWE might look to pick up again. You never know. Of course, I'm surprised they haven't gone for Rosemary yet. I think Rosemary would be a perfect addition to... Can you imagine having Sanity with Nikki Cross versus the Wyatt family of Rosemary? I think Rosemary would suit that Sister Abigail role very well. I think she's the only person that I could see that be able to play it. Say that again, this Su Yung, again, if she's anything like this, then she could possibly play it as well. I think it needs to be someone looking pretty twisted with a face paint, I think, doesn't it? So, of course, Su Yung will be taking on Rosemary. Probably the best thing that TNA have had in recent years. Now, Rosemary made her way here by defeating Crazy Mary Dobson in the first round. and then defeating Jazz in the semi-finals. Whereas Su Yung defeated the favourite, in my opinion, Kairi Hoyo, on the opening night, and defeating Nikki Cross in the semi-finals. So really an up and down one, this one. And I would feel like Nikki Cross might be the person who's going to get themselves a Women's Championship match moving forward as well. I don't think anyone's ever held a Women's Championship in more than one brand, have they? I don't think they have, you know. PJ Toby's had Asuka and Eva Lise, who have shared that belt between the two of them really for a while. And Sasha Banks, the three of those really. Since the beginning of Season 1, he's had all three of those names. Whereas over on Throwdown, it's been Bayley and Alexa... Well, it's been Bayley and Becky Lynch and Alexa Bliss have held that belt. But Bliss has not held the Adrenaline one yet. Yes, I don't think any females held a belt on two brands. I think there's males that have held the belts on two brands. I think Kevin Owens held the Throwdown Championship in Season number 1. And held the Adrenaline Intercontinental Championship in Season 2. I don't think anybody's held two main event championships yet, though. Of course, I gave CM Punk an opportunity on Throwdown to do so, and he was not successful in that. So, yeah, still wide open for somebody to take that moniker. And could it be anyone here in Carnage? I don't think it could be, to be honest. I don't think Carnage has any main event champions from other brands. No, Muertes never held the belt anywhere else. And Raven never held the belt. Braun Strowman's never held a belt, but I'm pretty sure he will do soon. Who else is there then? Nobody really. Who have I had on Throwdown? I've had Zack Sabre Jr. I had Kevin Owens and Kenny Omega. And now, of course, I've got Roman Reigns. The less said about that, the better. Yeah, Octane has had Edge and Tanahashi and Drew McIntyre now. And Adrenaline with Nakamura. Nakamura's an interesting one. No, Nakamura held my upper mid-card championship on Throwdown, but I don't think he ever held the main event championship. No, so interesting, really. Front chance to straight away. This is going to get tricky now because both these ladies have dark hair and face paint. So I might get a little bit confused here and there. But Su Yung just launching Rosemary around there via her face, which is never a good thing to throw somebody by. Or is it? Now Su Yung just attacking that knee of Rosemary. And Su Yung taking early advantage in this match. A big boot in the gut of Rosemary, now slamming her face first into the mat. Again, Su Yung with a boot in the gut of Rosemary, now brings her back up and slams her face first into the mat. Su Yung heading up high, looking to try and take advantage of the power she has in this match. And oh, here we go. Su Yung dropping to the outside, maybe looking for a little bit of assistance here in the disposal of Rosemary. She's got a ladder, as you do. Blunt object ladder. Sorry, I was drinking again. Same thing I was saying about the table match earlier. Well, not the table match, but the actual match with Sekimoto and Lorcan, where they use the table. They like to use a lot of these weapons, like tables and ladders, as blunt objects. It's not very often they use them in the way that the game intends them to be used. So, for example, there's not much you can do with a ladder, really, apart from set it up in a corner and throw somebody into it. I think the ladders probably are a bit pointless in Extreme Rules matches, because the AI doesn't want to use them correctly. It's great if you've got the AI correct, right, and maybe you get a table out, maybe you get a ladder out, maybe you do a splash off the top of the ladder through somebody on the table, that'd be fantastic. But it's not that clever, so maybe the ladders in Extreme Rules matches, although some people might enjoy using them, I don't think they're very useful. I feel like stuff like the baseball bat and the kendo stick and the chairs are probably better uses. It'd be nice if they were a bit more smart in the in some of the things they do with the weapons. Oh my god, big kick in the head there by Su Yung on Rosemary. And she could win the belt here just by dominating Rosemary. Rosemary's had no aggression so far at all. Oh my god, she has. Su Yung has just demolished Rosemary here and becomes our Queen of Carnage, our first ever Carnage Women's Champion. Wow. She destroyed her. Look at this kick there, right in the side of the head, that big punt. And there was no way Rosemary was getting back up from that bad boy. There's the pin. 2 and 3. Wow. Su Yung just destroyed Rosemary. And Su Yung is your first ever Carnage Women's Champion and your first ever Queen of Carnage. We are keeping track of these as well. I keep forgetting to put it in there, but there should be, I'm going to try and remember to do it for this one. There should be a link in the description to the SWE homepage where you'll be able to keep track of anybody who's left. We'll have a bit of a, what's it called? Alumni page. Also, you'll be able to see the winners of tournaments. So far, I've had the King of Carnage, we've had the Queen of Carnage, we've had the King of the Cruiserweights as well. So all of those are noted down for the future, because we'll bring back these tournaments later on in Season 3. Why not? I'm sure we will at some point. But there you go then. That is the end of the Queen of Carnage. Su Yung is your new Women's Champion here for Carnage, which is fantastic. But of course, it's not going to be easy for her to keep a hold of that belt. There's a lot of women waiting in the wings, waiting to have an opportunity. Victories for Christina von Eerie this evening is definitely going to force her in there, and I'm sure Nikki Cross, the former Adrenaline former Adrenaline Women's Champion, should I say, will be hoping to get us a shot at Su Yung as well. So guys, that's the end of this episode of the Queen of Carnage. I hope you have enjoyed it. It has been a very good one actually, so I'm pretty sure you have. Of course, if you have, then please do hit the like button, and of course subscribe if you are new around here and you want to see some more. And of course, don't forget, if any of the matches were of a great nature, you think, because I'm a little bit biased sometimes, I like to get your guys' opinion on it. If there's any matches that you think were very good, then let me know which ones, and we will have them downloaded and re-uploaded as single matches on the Best of SWE playlist. But yeah, I've been Shabby Gamer, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all very, very soon, tomorrow in fact, for our next episode of SWE Throwdown. Bye.
Bye.